What's up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be working on my 1994 K1500. It's got a blown up 350. I'm going to work on pulling it out, labeling everything, and getting it ready for the LS swap that it's got coming. So this is my 94 K1500. I call it the green truck because, well, it's green, or a shade of something that resembles green, to me at least. But yeah, so this is the main problem right here. It's a 5.7 liter 350 if you're old school, and yeah, it's got a rod knock. FBI, open up! So the truck always ran good and never really had problems. I mean, it's a 90s Chevy, so it made like 200 horsepower. So I guess it didn't really run good, but it ran well. And out of the blue, it just one day developed a rod knock.
Yep, don't sound too good here.
And I think it's actually my fault. I decided that since I run 1540 oil and a lot of things, when I did my oil change in it, I was going to put 1540 in it because I thought, well, it's 30 years old and, you know, what's it going to hurt? Maybe the bearing clearance has opened up a little bit and maybe a little bit thicker of an oil will help things. So the truck developed a rod knock, and like when there's any major failure in my vehicle family, there's a customary 6-month wait time, and that's kind of just for me to get my head wrapped around what happened and get over the disgust of something so major and so terrible happening. Because, you know, this truck here, it was a good driver. It was something you could just hop in and go. You didn't have to worry about it. I didn't really plan on doing any engine work to it. So it sat for 6 months. The weather's nice, and I'm finally deciding to work on it. So first things first, we're going to start pulling this thing apart, pulling wires off, pulling parts off, get everything labeled, and get it ready for a new engine. But yeah, I'm going to probably go with a 5.3, something like that. Just buy one complete, pull it apart, go through it, new bearings, you know, rings, oil pump, gasket, things like that. Just make sure everything's looking good, and slam it in here, and hopefully everything goes well. So as you can see, I already have the valve covers off and some things are missing and taken apart. And that's because the noise, I thought, could have been a collapsed lifter. So I pulled the valve cover off just to see if everything was moving as it should be, and it was. So that leads me to believe it's rod knock. And like I said, the engine only making 200 horsepower. I'm not going to tear through it and see exactly what's wrong with it and fix it. I'm just going to upgrade it. So one thing I want to do on this truck is retain the factory gauges, and I don't think it'll be too hard. Obviously, I have oil pressure here, so I'll just need oil pressure sending unit, coolant temp sending unit, voltmeter. You just hook up to any hot power. The fuel gauge should not be affected. Tach just needs a tach signal, and then the speedometer also should not be affected. So I got a bunch of wires over there and labeled and out of the way. Still got some stuff going on there towards the back, but I don't feel like bending over the truck that far yet. Right now, there was like a fan shroud right here. So I took that off to open things up a little bit, and I'm gonna work on taking the accessories off because this is a brand new alternator that was like 200 bucks, and I just put it on not that long ago. So I'm gonna keep that. The AC compressor works and is good. So there's some things I might keep or list separately than just the engine because it's basically a core. But I'm also draining the coolant right now. It is definitely going in the pan, not going anywhere on the floor because I wouldn't allow that to happen. But yeah, I'm gonna pull the accessories off and then see what we're looking at after that. I'm working on taking the fan off. And it's these bolts here on the water pump pulley that I'm taking off. And it's a good idea to just leave the belt on for that, because otherwise this thing will just be trying to spin and I'll be fighting with it. And it's a clutch fan, so it's not like I can just hold it. So leave the belt on until you do that. Some elbow grease and a burger brake later, and we have the front accessories off. Wasn't too bad. Things are a little greasy, and yeah, but that's normal. So next is probably going to be either disconnecting some more of the rat's nest of stuff back there, or we could crawl under it and sawzall the exhaust apart, because I'm sure that Y pipe is not going to unbolt. And there's also some things to disconnect underneath, but we're getting there. It's also 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, and I gotta go to the store yet, so I have food to eat. So that's it for tonight. So we're back at it. I got a couple things done off camera. I got the radiator pulled out and the oil cooler lines disconnected and whatnot. Everything went smooth there. Got a couple more things disconnected up in the intake area, some wiring towards the back, like the distributor, pulled the plug wires off. All that fun stuff, the heater, core hose, things like that. So everything up here is pretty much good to go, other than motor mounts. But right now I'm working on getting the exhaust manifold bolts out, and I am extremely surprised. I believe that these are the original manifolds and they haven't been taken off, because this is like that locking tab thing that I think they had from the factory. Could be wrong. But I mean, everything looks kind of rusty, and I was expecting this to be a disaster and to like snap bolts off, you know, in the cylinder head, because that's usually what happens with these kind of things. And oh my god. Get this on. There we go. Watch this. I mean, this is a longer ratchet, but look at the ease. Now, this is the first time I think this bolt's turned since 1994. Again, could be wrong, but watch. They just turn out. Kind of crazy. This one's a little tougher than the other one, but that other one right there in the front, I literally loosened it and then unthreaded it by hand. I was like, wow, this is something. But yeah, now I got like, I don't know how many more to do. And we'll check back. All right. Well, there is one manifold off, 0 broken bolts. Amazing. Literally just got done saying no broken bolts, and I go to take this first bolt out right here, and I find out that it is adjustable. So this side might be a treat. And side 2. No broken bolts, except for that first one that was pre-broken, but I didn't break any. So everything came apart pretty good. I guess now would probably be a good time to take the wiring off the starter and stuff and crawl underneath it. Obviously, as you can see, I sawzalled the exhaust already just to get the Y pipe out of the way. So I'm pretty much done up here for now. I actually got 2 of the bell housing bolts out of the back. The top ones that are a pain to get to, I got those already. So I think most of our work now is underneath. Alright, so under the truck, I had to take this service shield off that goes over where the torque converter and the flex plate go. That. I bolted that. And then I could take the torque converter bolts out. There's 3 of them. Holds the flex plate to the torque converter. And then I got the bell housing bolts off, you can see up there. So those are all out now, all 6 of them. And I put this strap here to hold the transmission, because when I pull the motor, the transmission's just gonna be dangling. Now it does have the transfer case as a counterweight, but I think the trans is heavier and it would still nosedive. So I did that and got everything out of the way. Pulled the starter out. That's over there, that big hefty unit. And yeah, so now we're pretty much good to go down here. I think the last thing that's left is the motor mounts. Now, as you can see down in here, I have these oil cooler lines, and I'm pretty sure I don't have the tool to take those out correctly, but I disconnected them from the radiator, and they're bolted to the part of the motor mount that will be coming out. So I think I can just leave them on and pull the motor. I don't think they're going to be in the way. And if they are, we'll figure that out when we get there. But the motor mounts are the clamshell style, so it's just that bolt right there. Pull that bad boy out on both sides, and then I'll have to get the engine hoist out of the shed, hook a chain up. This has, right there, you can see that hook sticking up. And then there's one in the back that I'll hook a chain to, and we'll yank her right up and out. Motor mount bolts are out. I think she's ready to go. I got the engine hoist set up over here, so let's get her going. All right, we're hooked up. I have hooks on the end here, and I could have used those, but I used a bolt through the hole with a chain and some washers because I really don't feel like taking the hood off, and I think I'll be good and have enough room to sneak it through there, but the chain was a little too loose to do that, so that's why I did that. But I'm gonna set a tripod up and let's see what happens. So it's not looking too good getting the motor out without taking the hood off, but this spring here has one bolt on it and then it's hinged back there. So I'm thinking if I remove that bolt on both sides, I should be able to get a little more travel out of the hood, and I'll just have to prop it up and we should be good. WGM. Look at that. We got it propped up now, and look how much room we got. Definitely don't need to take the hood off. Okay. There's the motor. It is out of the truck, and there's the truck. It's outside, and I pulled it outside earlier, and I forgot one thing, and that was that I wanted to take the transmission out. So I pulled it back in, and boom, there's the transmission and the transfer case. I didn't film it because I figured it wasn't much more than taking two drive shafts off and then this cross member here, and yeah. But I also made a nice ATF pond.
Agents with the Environmental Protection Agency raid.
But yeah, 4L60 and transfer case came out pretty smooth. Thankfully, Rob has a trans jack, so that made things a lot easier. So now I gotta get some kitty litter and clean this up, but there she is. No motor, no trans, no transfer case. Empty. I had no issues with this transmission. It shifted fine and whatever, but the truck has 120,000 miles on it, and if I'm putting an LS in front of it, I kind of don't want the stock 120,000 mile transmission. So I'm going to send it out to get rebuilt and have them look at the transfer case, make sure everything's okay, maybe put a shift kit in it, and then she'll be fresh because I really don't want to get a new motor and then have to pull the transmission back out. I also plan on replacing the factory torque converter and going with like a 2000 stall just to give it a little more pep, because I also don't want to put this one back in and then that shits the bed and I have to pull the trans out. But as far as this goes, I'm just gonna rub some parts off of it, like you know, sensors, maybe the throttle body, I'll keep that, the coil, because a lot of the stuff I bought and replaced, like that water pump's not that old. That's actually an underdrive pulley for maximum horsepower. Those oil lines are new. And yeah, I'm just gonna pull some stuff off, and then I do plan on ripping the motor apart to see what actually happened, and then I'll probably just sell the block and heads and whatever else on Marketplace, and probably won't get anything for it, but whatever. So that's gonna do it for this video. Now I have to look for an LS that's a suitable candidate. I want to find something on Marketplace that's like a decent deal. 5.3, 4.8, probably something like that, because I don't want to have too much power and kill my 4L60. But I want something that's complete, oil pan, intake, has all the front accessories and everything, so that I don't have to worry about all that, and I can just take it apart, go through it, rebuild it. My next video is probably going to be tearing apart the TBI 350 to see what actually went wrong with it, so stay tuned for that. But thanks for watching, and see you next time.